everybody, and welcome to my very first video. I understand that this account was previously used for things that one of my siblings was doing, Minecraft stuff, gaming stuff in general. But today we are here to do something of a fun little FNAF review. So here I have all the characters that I'm going to be using. Sorry for the voice crack. Freddy Fazbear, Chica, Foxy, Bonnie, the FNAF 2 game, FNAF 3, and FNAF 4. The reason I didn't get individual characters for these right here is because I don't want to take up too much space on my computer in case this video ends up not going the way I would like it to. Anyways, let's get started. First off, we have good old Freddy Fazbear, in my opinion, don't come after me for this, but in my opinion, I feel like Freddy is more of an A tier. Of course, he's a classic. He's the character that you think of when you think of Five Nights at Freddy's, You always think of the har, 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 har. So I say we put him in A tier. He's not S tier. Personally, I have other opinions on that. Oh, by the way, we're going to be ranking these based off of how original they are. Does it bring me nostalgia, and how overall scary they are. Alright, next up, we have Chica the Chicken. The girl as a group, of course. I don't really have much to say about her. I'm not a huge Chica person. One of my favorites is coming up next. So, but in terms of like originality, I really think that she sort of brings that, vibe to Five Nights at Freddy's. But in terms of how scary she is, she just kind of looks a little bit silly. She looks like she would, that looks like the noise that she would make. So we're gonna put her in B tier. Alright, the faithful Foxy the Pirate Fox. In the game, he is labeled as out of service. So we get to see him, I'm pretty sure, on nights 2 to 5. It's either 2 to 5 or 3 to 5, one of the two. I really like Foxy. He's my favorite because I like foxes and pirates. Anyways, I think that Foxy is, old faithful, good old, pirate man. I will say in originality, I do think of him as one of the faces of Five Nights at Freddy's, in my opinion. As terms of nostalgia, I really think he does do a good job bringing it home, but not as much as Freddy does. So, and also in terms of scariness, I think I would be kind of terrified if I saw this mechanical robot running at me at like 12 miles an hour. So I think for that reason he deserves to go behind Freddy in A tier. Alright, last one of the FNAF 1 group, and yes, we are not doing Golden Freddy. We have good old Bonnie, the guitar player of the group. I'm not sure if he actually plays guitar or if he plays bass, but that's a conversation for another day. So, Bonnie is a very classic character. People cannot decide whether he's blue or purple. In my opinion, I think he's a little bit of both, bluish purple. It also depends on the lighting. Anyways, in terms of originality, I think he's also kind of one of the faces, you know what I mean? I don't know why I'm not a huge fan of Chica. Chica's not one of the faces, in my opinion, but that's just me. That's definitely just me. In terms of nostalgia, he doesn't bring me as much nostalgia as Foxy and Freddy do. And in terms of scariness, I just want to give him a hug. That's me personally. So I'm thinking we put him in front of Chica in B tier. So we're gonna do that. Anyways, next up we have the toys. And also in the toys, I'm gonna be including Marionette, aka the puppet, and Mangle, even though they're not in this picture. So in terms of originality, when I think of FNAF, I don't necessarily think of FNAF 2. The first thing my mind goes to is definitely FNAF 1 and the gang there instead. So in terms of originality, they're definitely a B, C, or a D. However, in terms of nostalgia, it really depends. It really depends on which character, I guess. But as like a group in its own, I feel like it's pretty good, pretty nostalgic. Sorry. For that reason, I think. Also, sorry to off track, but also Mangle is a pretty dope character. So I'm thinking we put them in front of Chica, but behind Bonnie, in B tier. All right. Sorry, I keep clearing my throat. I have a little bit of an issue. Anyways, we have the Withereds up next. Withered Chica, Withered Bonnie, Withered Freddy, and Withered Foxy, although you can't see him in the image. Possibly one of my favorite groups of animatronics ever. I like how creepy they are, and I like how they really bring a tone to be like, hey, these are animatronics, but they're also freaks of nature, you know what I mean? So, for that reason, and because of how scary they, like, I'm basing off the scariness thing of, like, if I saw them in real life, how scared would I be? I'd be freaking terrified. So, I'm putting them in S tier. Congratulations, first S tier. Alright, I'm gonna speed through these last two because I don't want the video to be, like, too long. We have All Faithful FNAF 3. In terms of scariness, I would say it's, like, an 8 out of 10. Because if I saw any of these animatronics / images or ghosts or phantoms, that's the word I'm looking for, running at me, I would probably, like, pee myself. So, scariness, A or B. Nostalgic, B. And for that reason, I think they go in front of Bonnie in B tier. And last but not least, we have Five Nights at Freddy's 4. We have Nightmare Yawn, the Nightmare Gang, with basically every character we've seen so far. And in my opinion, in terms of scariness, it's definitely an S tier, but in terms of, like, nostalgicness, I think it's also an S tier. Because this is set sort of, FNAF 4 is sort of set, you know, you're a kid, you're a little kid. You're trying to defend yourself off from these animatronics, trying to get in your room, kill you. So for that reason, I think it goes in S tier. Anyways, here's the full image of my ratings of the Five Nights at Freddy's characters. If this video does well, I will definitely be doing a part 2. So if you enjoyed this, please leave a like, maybe hit subscribe, and we will see you next time. Ciao!